Alright, first you want to remove this front trim piece. You can just pry it off. The T10s come with a trim tool, but it's not necessary, but you can use it if you're having a little bit of trouble. Just be careful, don't force it, just pop it off gently, and then take this to the rest of your T10 assembly. Next, you want to remove these vents. You just have to remove this clip, and this clip, and then each vent. All you have to do, do a quick pry, keep backward pressure, so then you don't just re-snap it back in, and then usually 2 of the 3 will actually allow you to pull it out. Next, you do the other side, same thing, pry, and then pry, and then sometimes, like I said, the third one, boom, out, good to go. Now once you have your vents removed, you want to remove all these little red clips all the way around. It's super easy. All you do is just put some pressure, keep your finger on it so you don't launch them across the room, just like that. Now you have one clip out. So just go all the way around and do every single clip. Alright, next you want to remove all of these little screws around the whole border of your trim piece. Okay, so next you want to remove all 3 clips on your front trim piece. All you do is just pry that back, push forward, boom, out. Same thing on this side, pry back, push forward, boom, out. And then your last one, pry back, push forward, boom, out. Now, take your T10 and install it the same way that you removed your last trim piece. Set it, line it up, set it on, pop each clip in. Might take a little bit of effort, so a little bit of pressure maybe. There you go, clipped in, clipped in. Alright, good to go. Next, you want to take all your little screws and put them in all of the holes that you had just removed them from. Good word of advice, when you're screwing in your screws, be careful to torque them down by hand gently, just snug. You don't want to over tighten. You are putting metal into plastic, and don't strip them out. If you strip them out, then your trim piece might not fully go on. Just like this, I had this screw stripped out. I have a couple more that are stripped out, but just don't be alarmed if you strip 1 or 2, maybe 3, but try to keep as many unstripped as possible so your plastic doesn't flex around when you're driving. Okay, next you want to reinstall all your little clips onto those spots. Nice and easy, you just clip them on. Some might take a little persuasion, but it's pretty simple overall. Super easy. Okay, now once all your red clips are back on, you want to take your vents and just pop them back on into their spot. Make sure your 2 pieces are lined up real nice. They'll slip right into place. They're 360 vents, so there's no special way to put them on. Just make sure they go in their spots and just clip in. Nice and easy like that. Same thing with this side. Just put them together and then pop them in. Boom. Next are all your harnesses. Not every single plug will be used. First one on this, your big chunky harness, that'll plug in right here, right there. Next, you will take this harness and it'll plug in right here to the long piece. Next, your antenna connection for your AM/FM will plug in right here. And then now you have this plug. This is for your back video. That plugs in right here. And then I'll take this plug and plug it into one of your back video ins. Back video in cables. It's 50-50 chance. There's 2 of them, so neither of them are specifically labeled. So just take your guess, 50-50 it. And if you get it wrong when you do your install and test it, then just switch the cables and you'll be good to go. Next, you're going to plug in your canvas. Super easy. Just plugs into this one right here on your main harness. Next, you're going to plug in, I don't even know what this is, but you're going to plug this in. It's the only one that's a force pin, so you just plug that right in to its spot. Give it a slight little tug. This one seems to be a little flimsy, so just be careful. Next, plug your GPS cable in. This one is like a little coaxial, so be careful. Thread it in by hand to start. This is an 8mm, so once you want to get it tight, just be gentle. Remember, you're screwing metal into plastic, so if you over tighten, you can pop the metal fitting here out. So just be nice and gentle. Same thing with your 4G. It's this big long one. 4G is pretty quick and easy too. Just screw it in. Take your 8mm. Be super gentle. Once you get it snug, it's tight, it's good. You don't have to force it. Nothing needs to be forced on this entire install. Alright, now once it's tight, you're good to go. Take it into your truck. Now it is time to remove your old head unit. It's just 4 10mm bolts. You can take a drill, whatever. Just undo all the bolts. Just be careful not to just rip on it. You don't want to strip anything out just in case you have to switch back to OEM. Maybe you're selling your truck and you want to switch it back to stock so you can keep your T10. All right, now pull out your old head unit and remove every single one of the clips. There's a few that do route back into the head unit, but overall most of them are going to be removed. You don't have to remove the ones that route back, which are these ones right here, these cable ones. I'll show you close in a second. Some of them might take a little bit of effort. All right, remove them with a pick or something. All right, now you're going to remove this plug, 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 and this plug. You will not be reusing the wire that plugs into this one or into this one. Besides that, you can leave the rest of these. Make sure you get this one too, that you don't want to forget that. Anything that routes back in don't need to be reused. Next, I recommend putting a box or something over your shifter just so you don't mess with your T10 too much, scratch up the screen. Take your T10, set it down, and now re-plug in all of the plugs that you did remove. So this gray one goes to this black one. This is a tight one, so you just kind of have to shove it in there. And then this blue one plugs into the same sized one, which is this one. Or nope, it's this one right here. Plug that in. And then now these ones plug in together. And everything has their own place, so you can't mess anything up. It's super easy not to. Just make sure everything's lined up properly and you get all the clips that you originally used. There you go, nice and quick and easy. Remember, you will have 2 extras, these little D-shaped ones. You will not be reusing these at all, so you can just shove those in the back in the cubby and forget about them. Alright, now there is one plug I did not include in the original installation. There is a USB cable. I have the double USB. I already have that routed back behind the vent and into my glove box, but the USB is a 6-prong And that just plugs in right between your back video and whatever this is. Here's a quick note. If you have an aftermarket front-facing camera, and it has this kind of coaxial cable, you just plug these two in together into the video N1. So that's all you have to do for your front-facing camera. All right, now for your GPS and your 4G, they have sticky tape on the back. You just peel off the sticky tape and you stick them back up here. Mine had already come down, so you might want to use some glue. There is some insulation on the back of the top of your dash, so be careful not to rip it all the way off, but you might want to remove some of it just so you can stick it to that hard plastic up top. Once those are in, then now you can take your whole head unit cables, shove them all in the back in your cubby. Pop in your bezel. There you go. Now it's installed. And now you want to put your truck into the run position. Okay, so I spent some time messing around with the head unit, trying to learn about it so I can show you guys a few tips and tricks. Remember, this is an Android head unit, so you can kind of load up your own launcher. You don't have to use the launcher that came with it. I'm using the Smart Launcher. It's super simple to mess with. It's like any other Android device, so if you have Android, you can kind of figure this out on your own, but here are some tips and tricks. Okay, so some basic tips and tricks. You want to open up your settings. It's the blue settings button. Click that. Connect to a network, so Wi-Fi or your phone's hotspot, whatever. And the first thing I recommend doing is going to your system in the settings and click on System Upgrade, and then do Online Upgrade. You'll get this screen, and you can click Check Version, and if you're up to date, it'll tell you you're up to date. If you're not, then it'll ask you to download, and you can download a fresh update. So you see I'm updated to the latest version. This just ensures that everything runs properly in the way that you want it to. Some other basic stuff, you can set your date and time. Here you can do you can go through to your personal stuff. You don't really need to mess with that unless you use a different language. Then you can go to your display settings. You can change your brightness here. You can also change your display mode to auto, day or night. Auto, if your headlights turn on, it will automatically dim your screen, and if your headlights turn off, it'll automatically brighten your screen. You can set the wallpaper for the background of here, your font size and the theme for your actual settings themselves. Then you have sound. I haven't needed a reason to mess with these unless you're using the navigation that comes with the head unit, or you can set your device's ringtone if someone's calling you, if you have a have service put onto this, because it is an Android device, so you can put on like a 4G or 5G, whatever. Then you have your general settings. You can set your sleep time, where your head unit goes into a deep sleep. Then you can set your navigation application settings, stuff like that, just basic stuff. You can get access to your app permissions on your Android radio from here too. And can also, so there will be a floating button when you first start your radio. There's a floating button thing. You can turn that off by just clicking on the suspension switch. You can just turn it off. Besides that, there aren't too many other things. You can show your temperature, stuff like that. Edit your steering wheel buttons here. So then you can change how your steering wheel buttons act when you're using your steering wheel buttons with the radio. Besides that, that's all your other basic settings. There's also, inside of the reverse setting, there's reverse system selection. You want to set that to NTSC. Usually that's your best bet to know if it's going to work, if you chose the right one when you did your 50-50 shot. If it doesn't work, you can switch your cable, and if that still doesn't work, then switch between these till you find the right one. Once that's set to NTSC, you can actually put your car into reverse and see that your reverse is working. If you have a display, you're good to go. You can also click on settings, and you can mess with the brightness, and you can also mess with the other camera settings here as well. You can mess with the ruler line, everything like that. And like I said, if it doesn't work, you can also access it when you're in reverse, and you can find which settings for your camera that you needed. Besides that, you're good to go. You can also access your steering wheel settings through the little steering wheel app here. It just says steering wheel, and that'll open up your steering wheel settings as well. To connect your Bluetooth device to your radio, just click on the Bluetooth app. It'll come up. My phone is named Big Fat Phone. So, and you just set up all your Bluetooth settings just like normal and any other device. Now for other basic car settings, just like how your OEM head unit have, you have the car settings app. It's a car with a little gear icon. Click that. And then you can set your language through here. You can set your air conditioning linkage with auto key, stuff like that. Just all your basic settings, your radar settings for support, if your car has support for it. I don't know if it's different with the newer Tacomas versus the older Tacomas. I have a 2017. But yeah, you can go through and you can kind of just set other settings that might be important to you. But most of the times you don't really need these, like light settings, like daytime running lights. You can have them turned on at all times, stuff like that. Your Android Auto or CarPlay will be under T-Link. So when you click that, then you just set it up like a regular Android Auto or CarLink, and it's super simple and easy. You can even do screen mirroring if you click this button down here. And that's for mirroring your phone screen, so then you could watch movies or whatever. Please don't do it while driving though. If you're someone who likes to listen to AM or FM radio, you can access it through this radio button here. Click on it, and that's your regular radio settings. If you installed an aftermarket front-facing camera, you would just click this aux app, and that would be your front-facing camera. If you don't have a display, just click the little gear, and you can mess with the settings, set it to NTSC. That's what worked for me, but there are all your other basic settings as well. And yeah, another functionality, you can change the actual size of your front-facing camera by clicking that auto button. You can change it to different size. Not really necessary though, because you'd like to fill full screen. Another cool setting is you can actually see the voltage on your battery. All you have to do is open up your settings like before, and you're going to click on General. Scroll down to the bottom. There's actually a car battery level. If you set that to display, if you hide it, display, boom, it's right there. That's your car's voltage on its battery. Besides that, you can use this head unit as just as any other Android device, like a tablet or phone. You can set other apps on it like Facebook. You can set like your internet browser, Google Play, Maps, YouTube. It's just like any other aftermarket radio.